Welcome to the first Q&A video. Previously I requested that folks leave me questions that they had about atheism and then promised to address the first 10. You can leave questions down below and I'll make another of these if it's popular enough, but I've only got a little bit of time to go, so I'll get to the questions. From Polo Saint, what are your grounds for morality? Also, do you know if there's any consensus among atheists about a system of morality? I know that there are ways to approach it without God, just wondering if there was a dominant popular theory among everyday atheists that I don't know about. It's hard to answer this one quickly. The short answer is that the culture around me shaped most of my morals. I grew up in a Christian home, but very few Christian morals found in the Bible found their way into my system of morality. And I think that these ideas would have found their way into my system of morality anyway, because they're obvious morals for a person to have. Most civilized societies hold to the ideas that people who help other people are moral. As I grew up, I gained my moral codes and philosophies from people around me that I respected, characters and stories that I liked, and meditating on how I'd like people to work together. As for atheists at large, I think that the answer, their culture covers it for most, and that's where I think Christians get their morals from as well. Good question, but I'm afraid I repaid you with an incomplete answer. From Zicky PH, based on the development within science, when, estimate a year, will religion cease to exist? I don't think that religion will ever go away as long as there are people. There is a significant population of believers that will reject anything that doesn't agree with their holy book, view science as some kind of evil religion trying to tear people away from God, or just don't care to investigate things outside of their religious sphere. I lived in the Bible Belt where people openly referred to evolution as a trick from the devil. But maybe if I alter the question a bit, I do think that the religious demographic will shrink drastically in the country over the next 30 years and will become the minority in this country rather than the overwhelming majority it is now. With the internet and aforementioned advances in science, thought spread much faster and farther, and people surrounded by Christian culture can easily access secular explanations, and that's a new development in culture for the United States. From Mythic Man Moth, what can we do to improve how atheists are regarded in public? Unfortunately, we can't just launch a normal PR campaign. There are people of influence who call atheists immoral, rebellious, against God, and un-American. Christianity is against us. Its teachings say that the atheists are purposely engaged in a war against their God, who is holy and good and just. At best, the Bible calls non-believers foolish. At worst, atheists are called the Antichrist, and in Romans were portrayed as rebellious sinners worthy of being destroyed. I think there are 3 solutions. First, wave the atheist banner every time we do something good. 2, push back against the religions and show how manipulative and deceptive they are. 3, educate the population. Atheists don't need to spread propaganda, but we do need to fight it and equip others to do the same. I think that educating people in philosophy and debate will go a long way. Where I think that atheists do themselves a disservice is when they go after the believers instead of the beliefs. From Massacarafiel, edited a bit. Most theists reject even the most perfect argument against their beliefs because they have mixed their beliefs with their ego and identity. They see it as a personal attack. How do we separate their identity from their belief so that they can see their beliefs in a critical way? Very tactfully. The meme of Christianity calls for its followers to integrate God into every part of their lives, and other religions call for the same. You are talking about their most cherished dream or idea when you talk about their God. It's a boogeyman idea that they fear, and a father-esque idea that they love. And they think that idea is watching them as you try to attack their beliefs. Make sure you go after the beliefs and not the believer. If you want to keep the friend, it's probably best never to bring this up. From personal experience, I know that bringing this up can turn someone who was the best man at your wedding into an estranged acquaintance you sometimes hear about through Facebook. Question 5, from End the Disease. What are the top 5 books any atheist should read if they want to learn about atheism? I'll give you my top 3 since I haven't read any more that are really about atheism or advocating for atheism. 3, Letter to a Christian Nation by Sam Harris. 2, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. And 1, God is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. From Mr. To Be Evil, what about Chris Langan proving God through math? Can you debunk it? The short answer is no. I never heard of Chris Langan or his theory of CMTU before, so Mr. To Be Evil sent me this link, and it's found in the description below. The article is very difficult to read, and I can't comment other than to say it was very hard to follow. Sorry. 7, from AtheistExplains. What is an atheist? There seems to be a lot of definitions, and people keep bickering about what an atheist is. In common usage, there are 3 definitions, and depending on which dictionaries you use, some of them are correct and some are incorrect. If a theist is someone who makes a claim that there is a God, then an atheist should be the opposite of that. If you are using the World English Dictionary, then an atheist is someone who doesn't believe in God. According to this definition, an atheist can be a person, a baby, or a toaster. This is probably the most common way I see the word atheist used, but there are some people who say that this definition is incorrect. The definition put forth by the show The Atheist Experience is a person who rejects the claim that there is a God. In this case, you can't have an atheist toaster or baby. A person has to consciously reject the claim that there is a God. If you use Merriam-Webster's dictionary, an atheist is one who believes that there is no God. In that case, a toaster is an atheist and neither is a baby. Only a person who makes the claim there is no God is an atheist, and under that definition, I'm no longer an atheist. This definition is usually referred to weak atheism or negative atheism, while this definition is referred to as strong atheism or positive atheism, or even Gnostic atheism. Question 8 from Atheist Utopia. I have the feeling that Christians weren't the ones that were all leaving questions down here. Who makes better lovers, atheists or theists? I'm pretty sure that this comment was left to get a chuckle, but I think you're onto something. When I lived in Texas, most of the women I knew were Christian, and aggressively so, and I experienced a culture where single women fear men and the idea of being attracted to them. They didn't know where to draw the lines between lust and attraction, holy courtship and perverted orgies, dating and wanton harlotry. The women were scared of men who were attracted to them, were told by their pastors that it isn't their place to pursue after men they want, and they tried very hard to fit the caricature that the Bible outlines women to be. Kissing was equated with stealing from their future husband, and therefore also a form of adultery. Sex before marriage, even with their fiancé, was the same thing. They were so confused about the conflicting signals they got from society that demanded they remain pure, natural feelings of attraction that they thought were the result of sin inside of them, and society's other conflicting standard that women should be helpmates to their men and mothers to children. Atheists are all over the map, so I can't say if they are better, but if you are getting involved with a theist, then you should educate yourself on what beliefs and traditions they are bringing into the relationship before you commit. Question 9 from AtheistExplains. Do you realize that your video only has 9 questions in it, and you made up this question? Yes. Seems that a person posting videos about atheism on YouTube for a month and a half doesn't generate a lot of Christian questions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave questions below, and I'll answer them in another video like this if I get enough views.